Fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. The Patrick Riggins Show. Call in now at 865-243-8255. That's 243-TALK. And now your host, Patrick Riggins.
There was a stabbing in China at a school on Friday. How many of you all knew about that? Don't see a lot of hands out there. Where was all the 24/7 coverage of that school attack in China? In case you missed it, a knife-wielding man injured 22 children and one adult outside a primary school in central China as students were arriving for morning classes Friday, in the latest of a series of periodic rampage attacks at schools and kindergartens. The attacker was a 36-year-old villager, Min Yingyan. I don't know how they say that, but he's now in police custody. The man first attacked an elderly woman, then students, before being subdued by security guards who have been posted across China following a spate of school attacks in recent years. There were no deaths among the 9 students admitted, although 2 badly injured children had to be transferred to better-equipped hospitals. Imagine that in a communist place.
I see a blade band coming up in China.
Exactly. No motive was given for the stabbings. But the interesting thing, they echo a string of similar assaults against school children in 2010 that killed nearly 20 and wounded more than 50. The most recent such attack took place in August. That's when a knife-wielding man broke into the middle school and stabbed 2 students before fleeing. In one of the worst incidents, a man described as an unemployed middle-aged doctor killed 8 children with a knife in March 2010 to vent his anger over a thwarted romantic relationship. Also in a similar incident in May of that same year, a tree merchant, I guess he sells shrubbery.
Have you got this shrubbery?
Yes. A tree merchant in a village in central China went on a killing spree at a local kindergarten. Now, for those of you who I won't describe, but the article, I won't read the rest, but 7 children, a teacher, and a grandmother were killed with a cleaver, if you can imagine how that is described. Also injured 11 kids, then returned home and committed suicide. So, of course, the question is, what did the president have to say about that? Nothing. I could not find a single word uttered by the president about any of those children. Oh yeah, he can't use them for a political purpose. So what's the point? As I said in the last segment, President Obama doesn't care one iota about these children, or anyone or anything that doesn't help him further his political agenda. What other conclusion can you take away from this evidence? Children die in a country where no matter what Obama says, it isn't going to help push for more restrictions on Americans and their rights. So nothing is said. No fake tear is shed during a news conference. No red eyes during the weekly address. Nothing. Because he doesn't care. Or how about Chicago? Is that not dear to the president's heart? This year, in that city alone, there have been over 485 people murdered. And the year isn't over yet. A few weekends ago, 8 people were killed and 20 wounded in one weekend, with a large part of those murder victims 18 years old and younger. But that's not unusual, and it doesn't help push his agenda. The president is visiting with the community in Connecticut this weekend, actually today. That's nice. What about the other families of children murdered this weekend? Oh, that's right, there's no photo opportunity there. Now, people don't want to hear that. They want to think politicians care about them. I don't understand this at all. Why look for love and acceptance from politicians? Is it because most politicians are male? And that increasingly an alarming number of families in America are now led by single females with no father presence whatsoever? That can't explain it all, because disturbingly, people from seemingly stable families support these politicians who pretend to care. have we truly become a nation of sheep? Or as I like to say, cattle. Trusting everything, trusting everything told to us as we walk up the chute to be slaughtered. That would be their last words, too.
They're all looking for love in all the wrong places.
Exactly. They're looking for it in Washington. And they have no love for you. They just want your taxes, your tax money. I can't put enough emphasis on this. If someone is being inconsistent in their principles, their views on life, it is because they don't really hold those principles. They just speak them to ingratiate themselves to whomever they might be talking to at the time, or to apply them to whatever situations might be presently occurring. This is what President Obama is doing now. Now, here's a clip from my show on November 11th, just a few weeks ago, and if you go back to the archives, you can listen to this. Here's a real quick clip from this show I think is real illustrative. Yeah, we have time for it.
So all you Obama voters, enjoy the next 4 years as your guy continues to kill innocent people, human beings, just like you and me, without any reason other than the fact that he says they're guilty. And a lot of them will die just because they were in the area that the drone strike occurs. Nothing really different than what has been happening in this country with all the innocent people being gunned down for no reason, other than the fact they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yet we scream and yell about it then, but are remarkably silent when it happens overseas, to someone we cannot see, murdering those without a face. I can't really remember when that was ruled to be a death sentence, but in this new world, I guess anything goes. Nothing matters as long as your guy is calling the shots. All your principles, all your morals, none of those matter. All that matters is a Democrat is in office of the president.
Disturbingly, that's how a lot of people look at this. They look at this as an opportunity for their president to step forward, not for the tragedy that it is. And that these tragedies are happening all around the world, yet we are remarkably silent about what's going on in other places because it's not politically advantageous for us to talk about it. I can't get my agenda pushed through talking about these other things, especially when the president is signing off and, as I said, bragging about these people killed in drone strikes. And then of course they try to cover it up too. Just look at Benghazi. Hillary Clinton's supposed to testify, but all of a sudden she's got a virus and faints, gets a concussion. Now she can't testify. But, you know, she didn't go to a doctor either. Well, a doctor I think came to her house, but she didn't go to the hospital. So, kind of convenient how that works out.
No, it's normal.
Yeah, that's normal all the time.
Yeah.
Secretary of State falls and hits her head. We don't take her to the hospital.
I can't even get out of work unless I have a doctor's excuse, all right?
Yeah. it is amazing what the population is swallowing these days. So, anyway, we're up on the last break here on the Patrick Riggins Show. We'll take it, and we'll be back.